Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Finance Talk with myself. And today I've got Anja from the MFAA, someone who actually needs no introduction to the audience here. Hi Anja, how are you? Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I am excellent. And it's fantastic to spend some time with you, Dien, as well.
Well, I'm very grateful that you're giving up some time to have a chat to a little old me. Let's move on to the very first talking point for today's conversation, because as we go to record, today's the first Monday of June, and the MFAA actually published something today, which is very, very, to me, it's very incredible. I think every time I hear about it, I said it can't be any better, but here we are. So let's have a chat about broker market share. So what have you at the MFAA found?
So this morning we released statistics that we prepare. We release. They are prepared by Comparator, which is a division of CoreLogic, and reported mortgage broker market share. And what we've reported for the March 25 quarter is that mortgage broker market share has come in at 76.8%. And that is actually an all-time record. The previous all-time record for mortgage broker market share that we reported was 76%, and that was for the December 24 quarter. The other thing that we noted in our media release is that the total volume of mortgages written by mortgage brokers, facilitated by mortgage brokers for their clients in the March 25 quarter was $99.4 billion. And, I think really quite markedly, that's up, I think it's just over 22% year on year for the same quarter. If I was to stand back, their numbers, they are as a result of activity. But in my mind, more than anything, what it just highlights is how highly valued mortgage brokers are by their clients and how increasingly valued mortgage brokers are by their clients as well. We've just gone through, I think, Dien, you just said it, how much higher can that number go? But I think the mortgage broker proposition, especially during a period of continued economic uncertainty, is just resonating. And people want that expert guidance. They want that advice. They want to know, what do I do? I've just heard the cash rate's gone down. I just got a letter from my bank around what I do. Is it time for me to do something? Or I've got plans now. I want to act on them. What do I do? So I think we're really seeing that flow through, and it's absolutely shining through in these results as well.
100%, because it's I keep on saying it's almost like a broken record, but it's like, well, considering all these headwinds, but the market share still goes up. It's just fantastic, right? But that's a really nice segue to our next conversation, which is I think it's also time to celebrate our wins. Yeah. So the MFAA National Conference. So can you tell me about this? Because it's I'm always looking forward to it as part of our annual calendar, which is one of the best events to go to. So can you tell us, the audience, what's happening there?
Yes, so we're absolutely thrilled. We've got our national conference, which is the industry's leading learning event, happening on the 23rd of July at the Melbourne Convention Exhibition Centre. That is happening during the day. The reason we're just so excited this year is, yes, this is our national conference, but it's actually going to be a real celebration of the people that are driving great financial outcomes for Australians, and that is brokers. Now, the conference is titled The You Difference, and that is very much about recognising the individual, the broker, your individual journey and your broking career, your growth, and importantly, the very meaningful connections that only you create with your clients and with your community. So we're bringing mortgage and finance, MFAA members, professionals from right across Australia together, and we're going to explore what it means to shape, you to be even something greater through knowledge, through innovation, and through, importantly, that, the very human interaction that only happens between a broker and their client, which is what, clients absolutely love, working with their brokers. Now, we do promise, and I know we won't disappoint, it's going to be a really immersive and interactive event. You'll have the opportunity to learn from broker peers, from subject matter experts, and also industry leaders as well on how to elevate your client experience, your business potential, and also your broker skill set as well. So it is going to be a really, really brilliant day. And of course, we wrap a couple of fantastic events around it. We've got a welcome function the night before. So if you're coming along to the conference, great to come along to that as a precursor to a great day of learning. And then we finish and celebrate with our National Excellence Awards on the evening of the 23rd of July as well, which, Dien, I know you've been to that as well. Like the whole series of events is going to be fantastic.
Well, I'm based in Melbourne, so I can't say I won't be going to that, right? So there you go. But leading up onto that, obviously you got the state-based events with the awards there, and that's it culminates in the Melbourne event. Is that correct?
Yes, that is right. So all of our winners from our State Excellence Award. So we are going around the country now. We had a fantastic event in Adelaide last week. We've got Sydney this week, followed by Perth, Melbourne, and Brisbane. A short hiatus for us all to regroup and celebrate our national finalists and winners down in Melbourne on the evening of the 23rd of July.
Oh, thanks. Awesome. I was just going to say that, one thing is that if I was doing all those events, I can actually get away with it by wearing the same damn suit, right? Whereas I don't think, you'd be, what do you call it? You'd have to have a different wardrobe at every event. Yeah, that must be so hard.
I don't want anyone to call me out if they see me, no, in the same outfit twice, but yeah. Hey, but on also back on the conference as well, Dien, of course, if anyone wants to find out further information, all MFAA members would have received information. But if you want to find out details, each of the 4 very rich sessions as well, about both client experience, growing your business, how to ensure you stay at the top of your game as an individual with personal resilience, just search for MFAA National Conference 2025 and you'll be taken straight to the registration page as well. So it's going to be fantastic. Yeah, really looking forward to it.
I'm going to have the link in the description as well. So hopefully, for your listeners or viewers here to check it out. The conference obviously is open to anyone as well, right? Not just for MFAA members. So I highly recommend that people just jump in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Come along. I know from speaking with our members, from people who've attended in prior years as well, you always walk away with insights that you can implement straight into your business in terms of how you work with your clients. And I think that's the whole point of coming to a conference, coming to our conference in particular, that it's very, very actionable. You get unique networking opportunities as well, because it is whole of industry. And, to connect with peers, to hear from peers as well.
Fantastic. Okay. Moving on to our next subject. Basically, the MFAA is doing something pretty cool as well, which is you're actually having a campaign towards the customers. Whereas I think the last time, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the last time it was probably way back with regards to the RSET Royal Commission. Now, this is quite unique and this is quite interesting. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so yes, absolutely. So obviously we stepped very heavily into defence of the industry at that point in time. Over the last 2 or 3 years, we've been running a digital consumer campaign to elevate the professionalism and the excellence of MFAA brokers. This year, we've done a step change. We are going larger than we've ever gone before in terms of getting the message across to consumers. Our consumer campaign this year you will find it across a whole variety of digital platforms, YouTube, Meta, Google. We're live as well on the Listener podcast platform, where there'll be a clear call to action. And really what we're playing to is something that really resonates, I think, with everyone in Australia, which is how to get on the property ladder. It's a very common way of describing the aspiration for home ownership, which is just essentially part of, it's part of Australia's DNA and something that people, really aspire to. And what we call out is that wherever you are on the property ladder, if you're looking to get into Home ownership for the very first time, if you're looking to refinance, if you're looking to understand your options, if you're a property investor, you should seek out the expert services of a professional, and you can do that by reaching out to an MFAA accredited broker. Just for context, our last campaign, which is nowhere as big as this, we had over 3.7 million impressions and 24,000 hits to our Find a Broker website. So I think when you see the imagery in and around this and the clear call to action, we are expecting really great things. When we first saw the design that was pitched to us, I think the thing that really got me is that it's very aspirational, and it looks brilliant, and it's very eye-catching. It's sort of standing out in an industry that can get quite busy when people are looking at their options for financial services. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my goodness, I've never seen anything like this before. And we're just so incredibly proud to promote the work that our members do as well. This is not a one and done as well, Dien. This is a campaign that we're committed to do ongoing, because we're so incredibly proud to promote the work of MFAA members as well. So if you haven't seen it, I just, and we might be able to chuck a few links as well in when you finish production of this, but just links to what the visuals look like. They're just, they're incredible, really strong messaging. Can you tell that I'm a little bit excited about the consumer campaign?
I do, yeah, I do. And for me, I think it's the other thing is it's more, for members as well. That's something they can actually see that you do, because I know that you paddle quite heavily, what's that word, like a duck under the water when you advocate for the industry with government and so forth. But that's the average broker can't really see that, whereas this one they can. So it's like it's proof in the pudding, right? This is the other thing that you guys are doing as well, which is really awesome.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Now, before we go into the advocacy questions, I think one of part of your campaign with regards to aspirations to enter the market and so forth, right? One of the few questions that comes onto Finance and Coffee probably weekly, if as regards to the government buying schemes, and I think to be honest, a lot of us are confused as to what's available and so forth, and is it here, or when's the deadline, or who can do what? What's the MFAA doing with regards to that subject matter?
So if we roll back, we participated into the inquiry in and around promoting home ownership that happened last year, and as we spoke to our members in preparing our submission, one of the things we came across was just how incredibly complex home buying schemes are, both at the state and federal level, and what is available for brokers to support their clients on. We obviously participated in the inquiry, put our submission forward, and our advocacy work on options to improve home ownership absolutely continue. But what we saw was an opportunity to look to bring together just the vast variety of home ownership schemes that are present right across the country. So now people know, I've just mentioned that mortgage broker market share is at 76.8%, but what hopefully a lot of people know as well is that first home owners using brokers is more like at 79%, close to 80% as well. So there's a disproportionate number of first home owners that seek out guidance from brokers as well. So what we've done is we have pulled together every single scheme in this country that is current at the moment, and we've produced a resource that is available for us. And it's, if you actually go on to Find a Broker, Find a Property, and we'll provide the link as well. We've created in the first instance, a document that our members, consumers, brokers can use that can actually help you understand what schemes are available within your own state. We've actually gone one step further as well, because we know that this is such a complex area. And what we've said to our members is, as you read through this, if you're aware or there has been a change and we haven't picked it up, let's crowdsource the best possible resource for brokers in this country. Let us know, and we will get the scheme guide updated. At the moment, it's available on our website, but stay tuned because we want to look to reiterate that as well, just to make sure it's really interactive and simple to use. At the end of the day, this is just promoting home ownership. So it's another thing that we can do at the association, not only to help our members and industry, but importantly, help the people that really benefit from these schemes, which is the first homeowners in Australia.
100%. That's just another tool, right? So that or assist brokers to assist their own customers to get into the market. So that's awesome. So well done. The next topic I want to have a chat to you about is obviously the good work and the tough work that you do behind the scenes, which a lot of brokers don't see, and that's the MFAA's advocacy work. Could you tell us a bit more in terms of what you're doing, whether it's state government, whether it's federal government, and so forth, and how those things, if you're actually allowed to tell us about those things, obviously, how those are going?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're very clear in terms of how we work on our advocacy priorities, and that's ensuring, for example, regulation is fit for purpose for brokers and their clients, to ensure that regulatory costs are appropriate given the negligible harm that is evident as a result of how brokers work with consumers. We look for ways to strengthen the environment in which brokers are, and in some instances that can be calling out where there are gaps in terms of how regulation's been developed. And that's really targeted at ensuring we don't get bad apples in industry. What we also do is look for ways to innovate through regulation, and I'll talk a bit about that, because sometimes when you put regulation and innovation together, you're like, hold on a second, how does that work? And lastly, for opportunities around a sustainable future. So across many of those sort of key headline pillars, one of the key areas that we've been very vocal and very focused on over the last few years has been the application of payroll tax, in particular the contractor provisions in New South Wales. So we find ourselves in a very frustrating and we believe wrong position where relationships between brokers and their aggregators are being caught as a result of the construct of how payroll tax law has been written. And it's not just our industry as well. We appeared as witnesses. I appeared as a witness along with David Bushby from CAFBA and from Loan Market Group into the inquiry around the application of payroll tax contractor provisions to our industry earlier this year. That was a parliamentary inquiry that was brought about through our sustained advocacy with both sides of Parliament in New South Wales, and a consistent messaging that the law is not fit for purpose. The law is written, which has to be applied by Revenue New South Wales because they are the regulator with this particular type of law. The law is flawed, and it threatens the viability of the smallest of small broking businesses. And what we're deeply concerned about, which Dien, we've spoken about before, is it's not just New South Wales, it's every other state which has these contractor provisions as well. So that's been a key. Sorry, interrupted you.
Yeah, no, I was going to say 100% because I think all the other states are just waiting to see what's happening before they can apply it too, right? So.
Yes, absolutely. And, we are really focused and, it's interesting to reflect on pretty much every submission to that inquiry that our industry and a multitude of other industries called out very consistently, the law is not operating as intended as well. It is inadvertently capturing other contractual relations. And there are better ways to address this because of just, the unnecessary impost and unfair application of this law. So that's been a key focus area for us and will be ongoing until we get some sensible outcomes. There's a number of other key areas that we are working on. And I think it's important now to note that obviously we're out of caretaker period post-election, and we have a very clear outcome from the election as well. It's how we work with Dr. Daniel Molino, the small business minister, as well as Claire O'Neill in her capacity as Minister for Housing. to continue to highlight the competition and choice that brokers bring. Specifically for our industry, more recently, what we've been working on is the compensation scheme of last resort, which we participated in the review of that and expressed our concerns, and I've spoken about this quite publicly, our concerns around the potential for compensation from another financial services industry for the cost of that to have to be worn by the broking industry. That is not appropriate. The harm that's been caused in one industry should not be borne by another. We've been very clear about that, and that's actually one of the first things that we'll be discussing with Dr. Daniel Molino when we meet with him. Obviously, open banking. Now, I spoke about regulation and innovation. Open banking is just so key to further embedding the broker relationship through technology, and that's something we're continuing to advocate for as well. So that is a number of the issues that you'll probably hear me talk about more frequently with regulatory settings. I think as the Financial Services Minister, Assistant Treasurer, obviously gets his feet under the table and we engage with him, no doubt he will outline where his policy priorities are and how he's seeking to engage. He's an incredibly well-credentialed individual. We've met with him on a number of times, and importantly, from my engagement with him as well, he understands our industry and he understands the criticality of competition in financial services, and core to that is brokers as well.
Okay, that's fantastic. So as we go to court, obviously we're in the first week of June, right? And I think of the things you've just said before, I think one of the things which a broker might be thinking about would be top of mind at the moment is probably the payroll thing. If for those brokers who are concerned with regards to the payroll thing, good idea to chat to your state reps as well.
Yes. Yes, and in terms of a deeper understanding of where we're at, we've also got an established payroll tax FAQs page as well. If you want to understand where we are in the process in terms of advocating for legislative change as well, just absolutely go there, get some background. Importantly, reach out to your aggregator and get a really good understanding. And of course, reach out to your MFAA state manager if you've got specific questions as well.
Fantastic. And just going back to another subject, which is, I think, pre-Christmas, I thought the outcome would be different, but obviously it wasn't. And it was, like you said, it's a resounding, I suppose you can call it, answer from the Australian public. With the elected new, well, I wouldn't say not new, but with the re-elected government, can you let us know in terms of, are you changing tax with anything what you're going to do with the new government, or is it a matter of just more of the same, just to make sure that the industry, well, they understand that the industry is sound and that we are needed? Because obviously, if you look at all you have to do is put into Google, what's the margins what banks are earning. Since 20 years ago, Google will tell you it's actually gone down, and I think significantly brokers have something to do with that. Well, that's my interpretation anyway, because market share of brokers gone up, bank margins have gone down. So with regards to mortgages in Australia, right? So I actually did a little video about that, and there's no research going on. It's just you just put it into Google, or you can put it into ChatGPT, it will come up with the same thing. So, but anyway, yeah. Can you?
So I think
let me know what you're doing?
That's a big question. There's a few different things in there. I might sort of start at the end. So when we did the value of mortgage and finance broking report, we commissioned Deloitte to really do a deep dive on how is the mortgage and finance broking industry positioned. How's it actually changed since the last time we did the original version? Deloitte did the original version of this report. There's some really interesting analysis that shows the correlation between mortgage broker market share and bank headline NIMs as well. So I don't think you can dispute that since mortgage brokers have become a real force to be reckoned with, they're they are providing critical choice in the home lending sector, and increasingly what we're seeing is also critical choice when it comes to helping small and medium enterprise business owners as well. Governments, either side of government, we've got a Labor government for this term, and most likely, given how large the majority is, it could even be for a second term as well. Never say never, a week is a long time in politics, let alone a number of years. The one thing government in Australia is deeply interested in is competition, and ensuring that consumers benefit from competition. This industry is built on the foundation of competition, of choice. If you're a new lender looking to get into the market, you are able to deliver your value proposition. If you're an existing lender, you can actually expand your distribution reach through working with brokers. That would not be possible and as effective. And let's not also forget what brokers allow and facilitate for lenders, the majors, the second tier, everyone, is a very scalable distribution model as well. And right at the beginning, I spoke about something like $99.4 billion worth of mortgages in the March quarter that was facilitated by brokers. If you were to take that and then try and retrofit that back into potentially proprietary channels, I think the cohort that would be to the detriment of would be consumers. We find ourselves in a world where borrowers, they love the value proposition, they love getting the personal service. So it's choice, competition. Importantly, it's consumer protections as well. It's responsible lending and the mortgage broker best interest duty. So there is a reason that consumers really enjoy and highly value working with their brokers. And let's not underestimate how important competition is overall. And a big part of maybe going to the first part of your question is that's our role at the association, to maintain the relationships that we have with key stakeholders, with government, and with opposition as well. So we have a very rigorous and detailed stakeholder engagement strategy, which involves at every point ensuring, as new data and statistics become available about our industry, about preempting change and being ready for it whenever it comes along. If you look at the remit and the really clear focus of the current government as well, and the policies that they went into this election with, it is around housing and access to housing. And we saw some, proposed changes even prior to the election around HECS. Obviously, they've made a number of Help to Buy was a very big proposal that the Labor government in their previous term finally got into legislation that we'll start to see enacted around the country. Access to housing requires finance, and access to finance requires access to brokers. So the criticality of many of these policies will be predicated on ensuring the broker channel is there and able to support aspiring homeowners and existing homeowners as well. The other key part of what the government went into the election with, and we've seen this off Jim Chalmers really directing the Productivity Commission to do an inquiry into how do you create a more dynamic, productive Australian economy, is productivity. And we have a lot to say about that as well. So that's one of the key policy areas. We're participating in the inquiry that's open in that at the moment. Whole variety of things I've spoken about, Dien, when it comes to policy and advocacy. For us, it'll be continuing engagement with the AT, the Assistant Treasurer, with the Housing Minister, and importantly also the Small Business Minister, because we know our members, broking businesses, are small business owners in their own right. And we want to support them at every part of their broking career as well. Long-winded answer, but it was a very long question, wasn't it?
It was. So well done. Okay, so let's I'm just looking at the time as well. So let's wrap it up with one last conversation then, and it marries well with the beginning of the conversation, which is the industry outlook. We started the conversation by going, yeah, the broker market share is fantastically high. It's record breaking. At the beginning of last week, which is the end of May, I could see that the MFAA, in conjunction with COSBOA, introduced an initiative to help women in the industry, which is I think it was very, very funny, because I think your data says that 28% of the industry is female.
27.
27, sorry, yep.
Mm.
And ours was only like 1% off, because that's Facebook membership, right? So it's a fantastic initiative that you are going to do there. So like a bit of what is your outlook, because we're pretty high up there at the moment. We've got interest rates going down, or predicted to go down further as well. Did you see the outlook as being just as rosy, or some potential headwinds out there that we're not even probably aware of yet?
I think at any point in this industry, our role is always to look forward and make sure that we're prepared for anything that can happen. There is a risk of having rose-coloured glasses. There will not be some form of change. Our role at the association, my team and I, are to be as prepared as possible to have those really, really strong relationships. What I know, having worked in and around this industry for so long, at the end of the day, it's consumers and business owners who are choosing. And what I'm hearing from our members, everyone I'm talking to, is that inquiry and activity levels, even pre the Feb rate decrease, RBA rate change, were up. And they're even heightened again with the May rate decrease, cash rate of 385. So I think activity levels will remain high. Unfortunately, we find ourselves in a position where there is a lot of, I think we'll continue to see demand. Housing supply is a big issue in this country. And we really do need, in my mind, we do need some very long-term policy reform to start to address housing supply, to potentially, lessen some of the price pressure that we're seeing across the country. I think CoreLogic came out today and reported that house prices are increasing across pretty much every state and territory across Australia. So I think if you stand back and look at some of the dynamics, inflation is starting to moderate, whatever. You can take your bet whether or not the RBA will move in July or later in the year, but all predictions are for further rate increases. Now, what that highlights is it's a good thing, because there'll be less pain from a consumer perspective, and a lot of people are doing it incredibly tough, given how expensive things are. Single biggest expense for a household, in most instances where you have a mortgage, is that mortgage, and people will be looking around. Likewise, as conditions start to improve, hopefully, business confidence as well starts to really improve, and that means that business owners, regardless of what industry they're in, will be looking for opportunities as well, and be looking to work for their broker. So I think there are a lot of positive factors when you look across where will demand come from, and obviously supply is quite capped. I think the big unknown for all of us is we do live in an uncertain world, and there's still a high degree of volatility caused by geopolitics, in particular some of the stance when it comes to international trade coming out of the US, and how's that going to flow through, and to what degree to confidence here in Australia, and potentially inflation. I wish I had a crystal ball. We've got no guessing what will happen when you sort of open the papers someday and we read some of the things that are happening. Coming back to how I started answering this question, Dien, I think Australians are choosing. We know who they're choosing. Brokers are the first channel of choice for Australian consumers and business owners.
100%, 100%. And hopefully I could, have the same conversation with you again later on in the year when, our numbers have gone up yet again. So,
Yes,
yep.
I hope so. That would be wonderful.
Yep.
I have that conversation with you and for the numbers to go up as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Fantastic. So I look forward to catching up with you in person at the awards night and your conference. But apart from that, just I look at what you do in your schedule. It's like, oh my god, do you get any rest? Because it's like you're doing so much.
There's a lot of concealer. No, we've got a great team at the MFAA who are very, very passionate about what we do, and I think hopefully people can see that as well.
I definitely can. So, and I'm incredibly grateful that you're taking time to chat to me and the Finance and Coffee community today. So, Anja, thank you.
Thank you, Dien.